Well, hello there. Big Boy Sports is here. Let me tell you, the Columbus Lions have won the AAL championship. I gotta tell you, I'm happy for that. We're gonna start the AAL first because there has been some things that have happened. There's been some things that are rumored. There's some things that are going to be put into motion as we continue onward throughout the rest of this season. Well, the North Texas Steam, formerly the Frisco Steam, they are joining the AAL, and they're going to be playing in Denton, Texas. Now, you're probably thinking, how is that going to work? I have no idea. Personally, that's one of the last places I would think a team would go is Denton, Texas. Because there's no way UNT is going to let them play at the pit, but that's just me. And then the Texas Wild Hall, so, are also in. Montgomery's in, it's looking really good. The Ohio Legends are in. It's a blooming AAL. And with even more speculation coming as, West Michigan's like, hey, we're considering it. We're considering moving on over. We'll take Cedar Rapids with us. Like Don Montero's bought Odessa apparently, put them in Laramie, Wyoming, and of course, the Cavalry already, in Wyoming too. So I don't know. Midland, I don't even know what's going on because the last couple games between Odessa and Midland got canceled and everything like that. So, I don't know. And now the AAL could bloom from 4 teams to 12 in the span of that. It could be that crazy. It could be that crazy. And I don't think there's gonna be anything too telling right now, but tremendous effort from the Wheeling Miners, but the Columbus Lions yet again won the AAL championship. It was actually a pretty good one for a good minute there too. Meanwhile, this is kind of like what the IAL standings look like. Never mind that there was a game that got canceled, the week beforehand. But there's that. The Benjamins are slowly getting back up into things, while the Eurostars still kind of stink. The Rockers are at the bottom, but Utah looking nice. Cincinnati looking real nice. Arizona's kind of there too, but Utah and Cincinnati, it's theirs to take. Meanwhile, those Green Bay Blizzard by Liam Thompson and crew are the number 1 seed out east. You have a glut of teams that have 9 wins: Jacksonville, Tulsa, and Orlando, with Fishers right behind them, with the 1 game behind them, at 8-7. Fishers has 1 game left. Most of the teams have 1 or 2 games left in the season. So, really, not everything's been settled just yet in the IFL's Eastern Conference. The West gets a little bit more tricky to see who's number 1. Vegas, San Diego, and Arizona are all right there. Arizona's obviously in the playoffs yet again. That's not surprising at all. That's not even remotely surprising. San Antonio, unless something happens to where Tucson completely collapses, they are pretty much done. I'm still thinking, condolences to the Burger Popper for getting blocked by the New Mexico Chupacabras, but I don't know why the Chupacabras blocked them, because, you get blown out by Northern Arizona, so, y'all got blown out by nearly 40 points against Northern Arizona. What are we doing here, What are we doing? What are we doing? And it's there's some teams that are still the worst in the league, Iowa, hint, hint, but IFL is coming to a close. There's a couple weeks left now in the regular season, and things are coming to a head. That 2 seed out east is going to be crazy. The 1 and the 2 seed west going to be a crazy fight to the finish, I think. And of course, some games mean a little bit more to others now. Green Bay, they're still probably going to want to win against Jacksonville the last week of the season, but it's like, they're 13-2 right now. They can afford it. Now a brief look at those standings out in the TAL right now. Got Nebraska and St. Joe's. I mean, really, St. Joe's and Nebraska have clinched, but the more interesting thing is going to be the fight for that second team in the South Division. Monroe and Memphis are both, they're both kind of right there. And then Ozarks is also there, looking real spiffy. I think these standings are not updated, but yeah, these standings from the TAL website are not updated. Just realizing that. So, should be updated because Monroe and Memphis are 3-3. So, but still the same thing kind of applies. Like Arkansas and Nebraska have clinched, and so is St. Joe's, really. But Memphis and Monroe are going to be duking it out basically for that second spot in the South. And last, but certainly not least, let's talk the AF1. Nashville has clinched the number 1 seed. We know that. Albany's clinched 2. We know that. What we were kind of, hoping wasn't happening was the situation that's been going on in Kentucky. And off the wall, shout out to Trey, man. He's been doing it. He's been just on it, this entire season. Basically kind of confirms like what we already know. Like Kentucky players, there were a lot of Kentucky players. There were 17 players that were either suspended or, released, a week beforehand. And thus, the Odessa Drillers were like, let's come up and play. Let's use our guys and come up and play. At one point. Some of these players did get signed back the other day. They did get signed back the other day and everything like that. But the problem with that is, one, Kentucky, didn't get their last home game because Oregon dropped out. Can't host any more home games because they just cannot afford to host them. Michigan, who is under Kentucky in the standings, is going to play a home game in the playoffs. Again, remember, AF1 has a 16 playoff. It's been crazy the amount of times I've seen this. Again, been in this thing for a long time, so I already knew if something was going to be up, if somebody was going to be posting something about this, then yeah, something was up. Something was definitely up. A lot of Kentucky players either haven't been paid, for their services. And it stems back to Corpus Christi from last year as well. To quote one of the players the player that was interviewed by Off the Wall. Or just there's just a total lack of foresight in general, which, it's not surprising. It really isn't surprising at all when you really look at it. Oceanside didn't rebrand to the Stealth for some reason. Because I don't know what happened with them either. Maybe to kind of, offset some of the nonsense that's going on behind the scenes with them as well, because there's some issues with them behind the scenes as well. But the AF1's not in a good spot right now, and I thought I was going to be a little bit less, reactionary, and I do sound a little bit less reactionary. I'm not that angry, but, it's going to be coming at some point. I'm going to have to go unload at some point, because this type of stuff continues to be ridiculous, and we all know it. Everybody here knows it. Everybody that watches this channel knows it. Everybody that, is an indoor and arena football insider knows this. The other nonsense that I've been seeing from the AF1 these past few weeks is really on a different level. It's not as funny as the AIF stuff because, and of course, obviously, and I meant in a, hey, we're going to poke fun at this, but this is still a serious situation type thing. Like, this is just disgustingly sad. And, like, I just don't get it, guys. Gary. I don't get it, Jerry. I don't get it, guys. What are we doing out there? What are we doing? Like, y'all looking as lost as Firebirds out there, It's Nashville. Like, this is getting ridiculous. The AF1, can they even keep up the quality for next season? Because, there's just a lot of teams that are in trouble, that are in pain right now. Like, some teams are having to foot the bill for others, which is just not okay. Yeah, there could be some teams that are moving up, potentially. Hint, they're probably from the TAL. But at the same time, the speculation and the rumors and the confirmations of said speculation have to wait until you can get through this season first without any more trouble. And I just don't get it, guys. What are we doing out here? This is just not fun. This is just not fun right now. The playoff picture, again, 6 teams are going to make it. Like, Beaumont and Oceanside are limited. It's really just kind of figuring out, who's going to host what. Because Kentucky can't host. Michigan can host. Washington can host. And Minnesota can host. So, those first round games. But it's only one more, guys. It's only another week of nonsense. It's only another week before the playoffs begin for the AF1. So it's been a couple weeks, and I know I missed the 4th of July edition. I just was too lazy for starters. Let me tell you, having some issues uploading some stuff the last couple of days, so there's that as well. But yeah, basically that's pretty much it. Probably missed something here and there, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Now the AAL2 championship was also played in Wheeling. I think Peach State. It's Peach State or Peach State actually won that probably. I think I can't remember because I did not watch the AAL2 championship. Yeah, it was Peach State. They just beat a dookie water out of Steel City, though. It was like 40-something to 12, 44 to 12, whatever, man. We all know Peach State was going to win that. They are the most talented of the AAL2 teams by far, and they proved themselves on and off the field consistently. So, but yeah, that's basically it from me. I don't have anything else really to say that hasn't already been said again. If you haven't watched that interview from Off the Wall Football, that live stream interview, that Off the Wall Football posted, Trey, I love you, brother. I'm glad you're keeping up the good fight. But yeah, that's basically it. I'm out of here. I've said that like 5 times, but I meant it. I really mean it this time. I'm up out of here, and I'll see y'all next week with more of This Week in Indoor Football. Hopefully, nothing goes crazy next week.